brings me to the next question. That is, should I consider an intro and extro to my podcast?
Why not?
Yeah, in fact, see, if you take a podcast, there are three components to a podcast. Okay. First is the engagement part, then is your content, and then is the CTA or call to action. Okay. Now, the engagement part is the intro, the CTA is your outro. Okay, because at the end of every podcast, you want something to happen. You want the listeners to do something. You can either ask him for some action about the topic you have spoken, or if you want to draw him to another platform like your YouTube channels, your Twitter, your Insta platforms, you can draw him to that platform so that you can increase traffic on those platforms also. And this is the CTA part. But don't do too much of CTA, because if you keep asking him to go here, go there, he'll leave you and go somewhere else. How interesting you make it, you give him a brief intro about what you're going to do and what is going to follow so that he stays with you. That's the thing. So these are very important parts. So an intro and outro is a part of a podcast.
I think what I will add to that is, podcast, there are so many of them, and the listeners and the audience is a wide variety. So there can be an ethnic one, there can be a business one, there's so many topics one can have. So I think an intro is extremely important in every speech and every podcast that you create, because you want to, within the first 10 seconds, tell the audience, is it for you or not? You don't want to waste people's time. They will sit and listen to it for like 2 minutes or 1 minute or whatever, and then come to know, but at least you need to set the context in terms of what are you doing and what's it about. And is it for you? Is it for kids? Is it for women? Is it for men? Is it for working? So that is, I think, out of discipline, out of giving respect to the listener, it's their rights to know within the first 10 seconds or the first 15 seconds that should they be on it or not. So I think that's because it's a very wide audience. You've got to give that initially. And of course, give the call to action, because you're losing money on the table if you don't give a call to action. So definitely have an intro as much as you can.
That's well said, Alithia. I totally agree with what she said.
Can I use my Toastmasters project as a podcast?
Because I was doing my Toastmasters speeches as a podcast, right? But when I would start, like I said, the intro was never there because it had to be a 6-minute or a 7-minute speech, right? And then nobody knew what I'm talking about. And so that's why I feel the purpose of the speech should start your podcast, then you say the title, and then you repeat the title, and then you start. That's nice. So I think in Toastmasters, the pathways, the level 4, level 4, which needs the podcast, and it allows you to do a vlog, or it allows you to do a content, So this is a platform where we want, as podcasters, all the clubs in the entire universe to come to us and do your 4th level at our platform, and take some authentic experienced evaluation where from the experts of our members who have done and tried their hand on something. Let us give you a feedback and an evaluation on how well you did or what you could do different in spite of being amateurs. And so definitely a Toastmaster speech can be a podcast 100%. And especially level 4 is allowing you to have a speech content, which is a podcast. So you can do a lot more. As my entire podcast channel is called Just for Laughs at Toastmasters, because I'm doing the humorous, engaging humor as the part. So I've called my podcaster channel Just for Laughs for Toastmasters. So definitely just do it and don't let it stop you.
In what format should I save my files to upload the podcast? Is there any specific format?
There's so many listening mediums. The basic, most commonly saved is MP3, and everyone knows that platform or like file. But I'd suggest, because podcast is slightly higher quality, .wave. That's I think those are the highest resolutions were more video term, but highest bitrate producing audio software. So if you could save it in that, or as one, most of our members, they save it as FLAC. So FLAC. So those are a couple of audio like files that you can save it as. But there is no standard. It's not you have to save it in so and so format, because if whatever the platform you're using, suppose you're using Anchor to record, will have its own format. But yeah, like I said, Wave, FLAC, and MP3. MP3 is slightly lower quality.
With the Wave and FLAC files, as you get a little bit more skillful with editing, they work better because the quality is better. You are able to do a bit more tweaking, polishing, editing, and all that. That comes with a little bit more experience. If you're a beginner, as she suggested, stick to MP3.
Other than sending the podcast for a district PR award or uploading it on the district pages, where can I find an audience? Where can I upload these podcasts?
I'll answer that. I encourage you, don't start a podcast just to win the award, because it will not sustain that fire in you to continue with that podcast. You'll probably go all out, do it, publish it, you'll get the award, and then you'll say, now what? I got the award. Well, now what? So I would say, go for a content that you would do whether you get an award or not. A content that you don't mind spending hours sitting and chatting and researching and talking about it. Something which is in you. Once you do that, then you know who your audience is going to be. Remember, every podcast has a niche audience. It's not one podcast that covers the whole global audience. That's the beauty of podcasts. So if you know your content, if it appeals to you, you know what type of person you are, and you know who likes to talk with you about that subject, what kind of people they are your audience. Those are the kind of niche that you should be referencing your podcast to. All the podcasters who are going to start, we want you all to continue. Let's make this so massive that people say, wow, there's so many podcasts coming out of District 105. What's happening here? That's what we want to do with the Podcasters Club and our podcast at Dubai Improv Tribe. We want it to be a continuous movement. All right?
I think what is also very important to realize is that we ourselves are walking, talking marketing tools and devices. Everything is nowadays online. So I'm sure you have a Facebook account. I'm sure, okay, if you don't have an Instagram, it's fine. But like everybody has, like there's a way you would either have a website, you'd either have like social media accounts or your WhatsApp. That's your biggest, source of medium. Create a broadcasting group and just send it across to all your friends. I've just started this podcast and I'd like to have your opinion and feedback on what I'm doing. And same with any social media platforms of yours. So you upload it on podcasting mediums, and then you share it across to your friends, family, and it just moves on. And it's, I think your audience is now just grown and multiplied. Because if your friends like it, they'll share it with their friends, and then so on and so forth. So don't ever think that there aren't enough audiences or people to listen to you, because there always are. There's more than plenty for everyone.
The podcasting community globally is such a warm, welcoming community. Believe me, you go and you do your bit to come to know about another podcast, and you share that. You welcome that speaker into your podcast, and you're cross-pollinating, so to say, and both of you grow. So there's actually no limits to how you can market yourself and your podcast.
Like, for example, the example we gave you, the starters platform, Anchor. If you have recorded your podcast on Anchor, automatically there is tools within Anchor which will broadcast your podcast to various other platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and various places. It will automatically send it across. Okay. There are other hosting platforms also available. If you have created it independently on your PC, you didn't use any other platform, and you want to upload this onto the to the podcast world, you want the world to know about it, then there are certain hosting platforms which are available, like Podbean, for example. You could use Podbean. You can upload your podcast there, and then Podbean takes that responsibility of taking it to different places.
Yeah.
So there are, in fact, a umpteen number of platforms available. If you want to individually go and upload them on each of that, yes, well and good. The more you load, the more people are going to listen. Or you could go to these umbrella platforms where you could load them, and that would take care of spreading it across to the various platforms which are available.
Now, my next question is, if my podcast is uploaded in District 105 channel, how can I share it with my friends?
Great question, because congratulations on first uploading it on to the District 105 platform. Well done there. Now the next job for you is take that link and give it to all your friends. Put it on your, first thing, start with your club. Put it in your club group. There are umpteen number of WhatsApp groups in which we are members.
LinkedIn groups and everywhere.
Exactly. This is one chance that you get to spam them rightfully. Do it.
True. What I wanted to ask was, now I've uploaded my podcast. How do I promote my uploaded podcast on District 105?
Why do you stop at only District 105? Today, thanks to the experience that we've been through these last 1.5 years, all the districts have become one, so to say. You can spread it across the entire pan-district region of Toastmasters. Share the word. Post it. It's amazing what's the reach that we can achieve today through the digital medium. So it can be broadcast all over the Toastmasters platform across all the districts, and you'll get amazing feedback.
Generally, if this is coming to a bit of a marketing question, I'd like to add a few points. So if you take the podcast link, and a podcast is nowadays, listeners are enjoying the content in different senses, right? So you watch it, you listen, you read it, and things like that. So different people, any blog today is written in 3 forms. So I come from Dubai Toastmasters Club. What we did last year, our PR magazine was not only reading, it was all, every article, you could listen to it. And the same listening can be on YouTube as well. So the PR magazine was just not, and that was the initiative that we took. So everything was written, and then it had an audio sign on it, and it also had a video sign on it, where the video can come with either a transcript or, so you're addressing a different audience, however form it comes to. And when you're talking about marketing a content, you put the same one on YouTube, and you can do your YouTube ads. You can put the same thing on Facebook, and you can put it on all the Toastmaster groups that we have on Facebook and things like that. And this will take it to another level. The chances of completing absorbing the full content, 100% content, is actually audio. Because video and when it's coming to YouTube and stuff, it's a very high bandwidth, and the data is very high consumption. And reading, you can only do so much. So audio is the highest chances of, even when you're like multitasking, or whether you're cooking, or whether you're like driving, or whether you're even multitasking with work and you're listening to music. Audio is one of the only ones that actually have a 95 to 100% chances of completing. Just come to Podcasters Club and do an icebreaker on a podcast. That's all you do. So just about yourself, right? So, and that's the first speech any Toastmaster does, right? So anytime you can reach out to us, tell us you want to introduce yourself. You're just introducing yourself through a podcast, and that's your first step. Once you do that, everything else simplifies and gets it easy for you.
Yeah, and in continuation to that, if you want to just know what can be passionate for people, anything can be passionate for people, So we are a bunch of people who are passionate about just coming on the audio platform and keep chatting and having fun. So do give us a listen on Unscripted with DIT, our podcast. I have to sell, marketing. Okay. We are available on all podcast platforms: Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean. You can look us up anywhere. You'll see that we are there. Do give us listen and give us your feedback. As Toastmasters, you are great feedback givers. Please do give us a feedback, and we would like to incorporate whatever you say into our podcast.
As Alifia said, podcasts are the way to go forward. The entry level barriers today are almost zero. Who does not have a smartphone in their pockets today? Even the laborer who's sweating it out in the midday sun on the roads, when he goes for a break, the first thing he does, pulls out his phone, switches on his WhatsApp, or starts browsing. So that's the reach of a podcast. The listener does not have to get to a particular place or have the means to afford a particular bandwidth or data plan to be able to listen to a podcast. So the entry level barriers are less, the reach is so vast, and the tools required are all free. What remains is, what do you want to tell your listeners? What drives you? What is it that you would do, whether there's any remuneration or not? What is it that you would love to talk about? You don't care what people are judging you about the things that you're talking, the way you're talking. What drives you? Take that, make it into a podcast. Because as Aarti said, there is an audience for every podcast. Believe me, there is an audience for every podcast. It's for you as the podcaster to put it out there, market it like Karthik said. Even marketing. There are so many mediums of being able to market your podcast today without spending anything more than what you are paying for your Etisalat or your Do plan. That's all. You can market it across so many platforms. So now I finish with a question. What is actually stopping you, the listener, from going ahead and recording your first episode of your podcast? We would love to hear what is stopping you.